First of all, we should know that Light Yagami is a fictional character and is made to have godlike intellect. But he is not perfect. Despite being seen as perfect in outside, he still got weakness which can be exploited. Let's see what are they and how can we exploit them. Light Yagami, the ultimate mastermind behind the persona of Kira, unstoppable, manipulative, and always one step ahead. But what if I told you that even the most brilliant mind can be outsmarted? In today's video, we'll dive deep into the strategies, psychological tactics, and vulnerabilities that can outplay Light Yagami. In this video we consider ourselves in place of Outsmart with all resources available to him. We'll explore following methods to outsmart Light, and how we can use them to win this deadly game of wits. 1. Weakest link, Misha Amain. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. In Death Note universe, most of the characters, at least the important ones, have stratospheric IQ. But Misha Amain is the exception of this. She is not particularly smart, which can be seen from the choices she made when she acted as second Kira. One of the easiest way to use her is to use the double transplantation tactics. What is double transplantation? It is simply to implant small transmitter on Misha shoes/accessories which she uses much and reveal that transplantation in a correct time strategically. Stage 1 is when we transplant the transmitter. This should be done with cautiousness and when both Light and Misha are very far away from the thing that we are transplanting transmitter on. In this stage we simply need to know how Light will try to use Misha, although this itself cannot be used to incriminate Light as Kira, but it definitely can be used to outmaneuver him. Stage 2 is when the information of implanted transmitter is leaked to Light after some time in such a way that he feels like he found it using his intellect. Light has lots of confidence in his abilities so much that he sees himself as a god. The point is, after he finds the transmitter with his so godlike intellect, he won't ponder much on the question of whether or not this is trap or not, since the transmitter reveal, being trap, would mean that he was intellectually incapable of learning about transmitter and was being used and lead into, which according to him is not possible, since he is God and this goes against his identity. This was also a reason why he lost against Nier. People when encountered with idea which contradicts the belief they have anchored with their identity, try to make sense of idea by modifying them to fit with their inherent belief without trying to see the real truth. Only people who can see these kind of truths are the ones who have very less ego and are willing to accept that they are wrong. Hence, Light will take transmitter reveal as the thing which he did while stroking his ego to new level. He will try to use that to outmaneuver us, but this is fatal since he is using his time and energy to use the traitor messenger, transmitter, to fool us while not knowing that the information received from the traitor messenger, transmitter, is already known to be false. We can also use it to narrow his actual intentions in such a way that if he say he is doing A in transmitter, then he will most likely do something that is complement of A or at least something that is not A. This does not mean he will do exact opposite of A, since not going north doesn't mean going south, since east and west are also option, but we now know that he is going to take 3 out of 4 available option, hence narrowing the option. Note, this narrowing of option should be done while analyzing and mitigating risk of removing A as an option, since Light is very smart and might realize this. Double trap of transmitter implantation and transmitter reveal. 2. God complexion with pattern analysis as a tool. Light's God complexion is the reason for his superior sense of self. He thinks he is the chosen one and is burdened with responsibility of taking out human trash, murderers, rapist, or anyone who goes against his sense of justice. We as Outsmart already know that there is information leak from police side, and we also suspect Light Yagami as Akira. Now to pinpoint the point of leakage that is Soichiro Yagami with enough proof, we can use the following Trojan criminal tactics. This is necessary to make Soichiro Yagami believe that his son is definitely Kira so that he can cooperate with us in our strategy as a tool/pawn, which further solidifies our chances of outsmarting him. So what is Trojan criminal? It is the same concept which was used by Outsmart to narrow that Kira is of Kanto region. Stage 1 is preparation stage, where we analyze the mindset of Kira on what he thinks are criminally punishable and are truly injustice. It is simply a pattern recognition stage where we recognize the patterns of Kira killings. Stage 2 is where we will use death-sentenced criminal with very less information on them in public as a Trojan horse. We will fabricate the story of this criminal as the one which Kira finds as very against his belief and injustice, hence appealing these criminals as the true opposite of his idle world where he is God. But here is the twist: these criminals with fake story are to be used with other true verifiable criminal information. Both popular and unpopular cases are to be introduced to police force, but Trojan cases are to be given to Soichiro Yagami only, while slipping them with other cases as blankets of deception. Light doesn't usually check the criminal's story reliability as seen from the story, but those verifiable popular information are the first blanket layer which covers our fake information. This is further supported by the unpopular verifiable information which acts as the second blanket layer, since it is verifiable but requires much effort since they are not so popular. Hence Light, even if he checks the reliability of criminal story, will not find it unusual that he can't find the concrete proof to check one of many criminal story reliability, since it might have been secret case by police, because variety of cases which requires less effort, much effort, impossible amount of effort are all available as cases, unlike a cases which requires similar amount of effort, which making cases which requiring different amount of effort as out of place. Since it is hard to check the reliability of unpopular cases, it is also time consuming and inefficient for him to check every case. His high number of kill count also indicates that he doesn't check the reliability of the case, because checking 100k plus worth of people's information is definitely time consuming and has risk of exposure as Kira through his activity monitoring by police. This plan is possible due to us using his God complex and his sense of justice to provide him with appealing bait. Note, it is actually better if the bait's information is very against Kira justice but not perfect, because it is possible Light will rigorously try to check the information of the perfect bait by suspecting it as a trap. Since he is very smart and calculating, perfect bait might seem too out of place. We need our bait to be appealing enough for Kira to bite but not too out of place for Kira to avoid it. 3. Play the long game. Light Yagami, despite being expert manipulator and genius, is still human no matter how much he claims to be God, so he can be worn down over time. We as Outsmart have access to much more resources and manpower. One of the most effective ways to outsmart him is by playing the long game, where we slowly wear him down over time. As time passes, Light's paranoia increases. Every action he takes requires more intricate planning, more cover-ups, and more lies. Eventually, the weight of his own deception will catch up to him. This is where patience becomes your greatest weapon. Nier succeeded where L failed because he allowed Light to make small mistakes over time. The trick is to never rush. Force Light into a position where he has to act first, and eventually, his need to maintain control will unravel his plans. In conclusion, outsmarting Light Yagami isn't easy. He's one of the most brilliant and dangerous minds ever created in anime. But no one is invincible, not even Kira. By exploiting his arrogance, controlling information, setting traps, playing the long game, and using his allies against him, you can force Light into a corner. Next video on how to outsmart Outsmart. Fate has brought us together and we might never see each other again. If you want more of such contents, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until fate brings us closer, see you till then.